Go ahead and take the 10mm bolts out of your pulley and take all these 10s off the water pump housing. I recommend going ahead and replacing the thermostat with a new one from Suzuki. Clean any crap off of the debris off of the mounts in the back. And you have to replace this O-ring. I'm going to have to find one to replace that one that's damaged. I cleaned the face off and put a layer of RTV black silicone on it. Lay the gasket on it. I'm putting the gasket on it now, already siliconed. This water pump had 2 dowel pins in it. It's kind of stiff going in. I actually had to remove the water pump dowel pins because there was dowel pins in the housing and they was going to clash. I took a pair of vice grips and kind of crushed them a little bit and twisted them up out of there. And it's a little difficult going down, so I was using the 10mm bolts over top of each dowel pin and making sure I pulled the cover down square on them. And once I got it almost bottomed out, then I went through tightening all the rest of the bolts up and the ones on the dowel pins. They got a little extra tightening because it was so difficult sliding down them. Now I'm going to go ahead and put these 10mm bolts in. I'll probably put just a little touch of blue Loctite on them. You don't have to, but I do anyway. And then I put just a little touch of weather strip adhesive on the sides of the O-ring to tack it in there in 3 places. I've already removed the heater core pipe O-ring. It'll get this new one and some antifreeze on it, and maybe a little antifreeze in the hole it goes into. Help it slide in there. Once you got your O-ring seated in there and your water pump on, your pulley bolts in, make sure your dowel pins are changed over from the side of the water pump. It's got dowel pins in the front that come with the water pump, and it may have 2 dowel pins in the side, or they're still in the engine block, and this one had 1 in the water pump and 1 in the engine block. So I just took a metal cutting bandsaw and went down the side of it, and that loosened it up. So I'm going to have to put it in the appropriate hole. Still in the engine block. Clean your surfaces off on your block if you need to. Make sure everything's flat and clean. Stick this contraption back down in there. I'll put a light coating of Loctite on these bolts. 4 bolts they torque to 18 foot-pounds. Don't forget about your oxygen sensor plug-in bracket. Goes in there in the bolt. Down in there and facing the right way, and I'll just need to stick it on the dowel pins. It's on the dowel pins and the 4 bolts are in it. These torque 18 foot-pounds. Now I'll manually tighten them down. X pattern. Plug your heater pipe in. Put the 10mm screw back in it. Then fish your air conditioner back on this bracket and put the bolts in it. Before I put all of the bolts, I'll probably just put the air conditioner, get it up in the ballpark, and then put this oxygen sensor plug-in bracket bolt back into the water pump housing. And plug the wires back in to the oxygen sensor and the AC compressor. Rerouted around the low side, or in between the low side and high side. I've got one bolt stuck in the air conditioning unit loose. Go ahead and put the air conditioner back up there. And the radiator hose back on the thermostat cover. Put the drive belt back on and make sure there's no antifreeze on the pulleys. Then slip the cooling fan back down into the radiator area. Accessory belt is back on. Make sure the belt's on all the grooves and pulleys. The power steering pump back there was kind of a little aggravating, but it got on there finally. All 4 bolts are bolted down on the fan, and the fan's plugged back in. Make sure you plug it back in or you'll cook it. Now I just need to put the 3 bolts, or 1 bolt and 2 nuts back on the heat shroud and start working on the antifreeze. Well, it's time to fill the antifreeze. I've mixed it to 40 below here using the airlift system. Hook shop air up, pull the suction on the system, sucks all the hoses flat, then plug in the antifreeze filled line from this container, and it'll suck the antifreeze and displace the space with the vacuum with antifreeze. Now full of antifreeze. Vacuum's back down to 0. I'll have the plastic off so I can check it for leaks and make sure everything's alright. My system works good, it fills it clear up. Fill your reserve up to the full mark. Full as top line. Stop that noise it was making. I think that hit the spot. No mess antifreeze installation. Gotta love that. Reserve's a little overfilled because there will be microscopic air bubbles trapped in the system, and eventually it'll settle down to the full mark. A little extra in there never hurt anything. Belt's riding true on the pulleys. Looks good. See any crease of antifreeze running out of anything. Sounds good. I'll go ahead and stick the plastic back on it after it gets hot. to get it out of here.